What's up? Thank you for coming back to the Blanket Burritos. This is our second episode. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I'm Emily.
Welcome, I'm Sarah. And yeah, this is our holiday episode, we can call it, I
Not
guess.
really. I mean, did we make it holiday themed? I don't think we did.
No, it's just during the holidays. That's all that makes it a holiday episode.
It was supposed to be a very special birthday episode, but someone got sick on their birthday, so they can't see you raise your hand.
I was the one who felt a little phlegmy and sinusy, and then I'm convinced myself that I have corona, but there's a very good chance that I don't. But I'm gonna still sit like this till I get my result on Thursday. So, but it was my birthday on the 27th, and I turned 26. So
congratulations!
Thank you.
Finally caught up with the rest of your grade.
I know. I'm always the baby of the grade.
That's cool though.
Yeah. It's not fun, like when everyone else is turning 21, I'll tell you that. And then everyone goes to the bars and they're like, I guess we can get lunch with you another day. And I'm like, well, that's depressing. Like,
I never even thought about that before. Oh, that really does suck.
I was smart though. I studied abroad in Italy the fall before I was going to turn 21. So I could drink there. And then I came home, turned 21, and then I could drink in the US. So
see, that's what you got to do, December babies.
Yeah.
Anyone born late, go study abroad the year of your 21st birthday. You can drink all you want, and your age does not matter.
That's true.
Life tips. We're learning so much.
Life tips.
So, for those of you that don't know, we start off our podcast with tarot and or oracle reading. So we pull cards for you, and it's timeless. So it's just when you're listening to this, if it's relevant to you, obviously take what resonates, leave the rest, use your discernment, blah, blah, blah. Sarah, do you want to start off?
Sure. It's interesting. I mean, so I got Community.
Love that show.
And then I also then I also got Poised, and she's a very saucy, living her best life lady.
Beautiful.
And I think so. Community is typically saying you're not alone. You're part of something. You feel like you belong to a bigger group, and maybe if you don't, and you think your contributions are not that great, they still matter. They still matter because it's part of a bigger picture.
Right.
And then Poised is saying being ready and just a start of a new thing, and just they're saying that I think it said something about you're ready even though you don't think you are, kind of thing. Have confidence in yourself, you're ready to take on this new thing. You got what you need. All your skills are there. You got them. Don't worry.
Love those, because it's so true that we already have everything we need within inside of us. It's just our limiting beliefs keeping us from them.
Yeah.
I love those. How do you I'll just tell you mine, and then we could talk about maybe how, because I feel like you have an insight onto how they correlate.
Well, you go, and then I'll explain I don't know.
So I pulled first the Tower, which don't panic if you guys
run away, everyone. I'm just kidding.
No, because it's from, I should say what decks they're from. So this one's from the Alchemical Visions Tarot, which has been my favorite tarot to pull lately. And so it has a little bit of a different meaning. It's so basically they're saying I really feel like this is talking about the split between 5D and 3D. For those of you that don't know what that is, I don't know if we talked about that in our last podcast, did we?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay. Well, 3D living is very fear-based. It's living in the polarity, black and white, and
what you see is what you get. You only believe what's in front of you, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's very limiting. It's not very conducive to like love. It's all about like the self and every man for himself kind of mentality, whereas like the 5D is unconditional love and like gray areas, and like just because somebody does something bad doesn't mean they're a bad person. But usually if you're in that unconditional love, benevolent aura energies anyway, like you're most likely not intentionally going to do anything bad. But I think it's talking about the timeline split between the 3D and the 5D, and how a lot of people are talking about how Bashar said this on one of his, Bashar is a channeler, he's a gray alien, look it up. But he said that the people that are in the 5D are going to be looking at people in the 3D and seeing like what's happening in the chaos around them, but not really like it not really affecting them. So it's like not letting the 3D stuff affect you.
So like the tower would represent as like 3D almost.
Yeah, just like, because there's going to be, I feel like, a collapse of the system, and as we move more towards 5D consciousness. And that's going to cause a lot of people to freak out, and if they take things at face value instead of maybe digging a little deeper, it might scare a lot of people, and they're not awake, so they don't, you know, it's not their fault that they're freaked out and they don't understand what's going on. They just see it for what it is. But for you guys, it's kind of like suggesting like, hey, let's not get caught up in that, because we have it clarified by the Queen of Wands, who is behind this beautiful sunflower.
Ooh.
I know. I love it.
Are these like the big cards that are like the size of I'm so excited.
Like,
sorry.
They're like almost the size of my head, but I just love them so much. But anyway, like in this card, it has like an all-seeing eye and like a leafy wand and lions all around it. So it's, and like lots of roots. So it's saying like, stay grounded. Don't let what's happening in the tower, because there's a lot of chaos. There's like a volcano happening, people flying everywhere in this, like affect you. Because it's going to be easy too. So,
yeah.
So what were you thinking was the correlation, if there was any?
Visually, which is like stupid because it doesn't make sense with it. Like the community, like it has a little like almost like the idea of the tower is like it's like a structure that wasn't built on strong foundation, right? And like there's like a little structure in here, which I thought was very interesting. But I think these are like kind of more correlating with like the idea of like the 5D, where it's like you already have what you got, like just you got what it takes, just you know, and you're part of something bigger. Like just don't think that like you're just like you don't matter alone. Yeah,
because there's going to be lots of things crumbling around you, especially things that don't match your vibration, and it's going to be hard, and it's going to be hard not to give into some of the 3D stuff, but you have to keep going. And you do have a community, like you have us, you have probably a bunch of other people, I don't know, but like just because they're not there in the physical does not mean that they don't exist. Right. Are people who are going to support you. Okay, so for our next segment, we do this thing where we read from the New York Times article. It's called 36 Questions to Make You Fall in Love, and as usual, our goal is to make you fall in love with us so that you want to watch this podcast. So we're going to be answering 2 questions every single podcast, and by the 36th one, we'll have like a whole slew of people just crazy in love with us.
That's the goal.
Yeah, it is. And may or may not leave this in, but Hannah Bread Talk, if you're listening, hit me up.
Emily loves this woman on TikTok that makes bread, which, like, to be fair, like, I don't know if I've actually found her like on my For You page, but like bread talk is like one of my favorite places to be. So I can only imagine how awesome it is. Like,
oh my God, she's so beautiful, and like, it's fine. It's fine. She has a girlfriend right now, and I'm happy for her, but I'm just really heartbroken right now, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, so Sarah, do you want to read the first question? Do you have it up?
Yes.
Okay.
If you could wake up tomorrow and have gained any one quality or ability, what would it be?
boy. Do you have an answer to this?
I think I do. I think for me to be more bold, I would say I don't necessarily do things like, in spur of the moment. I would say like I rethink things multiple times. It literally took me 6 months to convince myself I wanted Disney Plus. So
I'm still trying to convince myself. So you're
so
fine.
just I think be more bold. I think be more in the moment sometimes. I think sometimes I think too much about it,
That's a really beautiful answer. Did you think about that beforehand, or did that just come to you?
Um I mean, I think I've always like thought that. Like I'm like, ooh, that's like one thing I don't have. Like I'm not a bold, like spontaneous person. So that was
Gotta
pretty
get some
easy.
gumption.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it's my usual answer of like ability of not letting anybody affect me, being totally present in the moment, and very Eckhart Tolle, and not letting anyone like even phase me, because I feel like I don't feel like I'm reactive, but because I don't yell at anyone, it's all internal, but I still get very, very emotionally affected by it, and I wish I didn't.
Right.
So
Right.
just maybe just not not having emotion. No.
No, I mean you could try the what Sarah did when she was a young little bean.
Ooh, what was that?
Just be clueless.
Oh, I've tried that, and actually that did work out for me very well for a very
See?
long time.
Like so when I was younger, and I didn't realize this till like now when I was older, like there have been a lot of moments, I guess when I was a kid, that like people I think were definitely making fun of me, but like I didn't realize it, and I was just like in my own planet having a great old time. And then it's not fun when you want to bully someone when they don't react, right? So then they just leave you alone, and that's what happened to me. So
It's hard when it's people who do have an impact on your environment, like if it's work or something. But it's so interesting because I feel like they're so non-consistent. It's hard to it's just hard to
Mhm.
not have a reaction, because it's like I could try to prepare for what's going to happen, but if you're not consistently like mean or consistently nice, it's like
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
I'm so like I'm so stressed out because I am a Taurus South node. I like stability, and not knowing like or not being able to prepare or like have consistency in my life is extremely
Yeah.
upsetting. So you're a Taurus South node too, right?
Yeah.
Is that like a generation thing, or is that
I don't
like
know
we're just
actually.
special?
I have no idea. That's
And
actually a
it's just
very
like
good
a really
question.
big coinky dink.
Ooh, wait, should we go to the second question?
I,
Because then
I
we
think
can
we
like get all coinky dink about it.
can. Okay. Ooh, what is it? What is it?
It says take 4 minutes to tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible.
Oh shit! I don't want to do this. Why did I agree to
Well,
this question?
so but here's the thing. I don't think we have to do that, but I think we can talk about how we know each other and because that kind of goes through like our whole
But
like
Sarah, the science that we need to get them to fall in love with us. So the science is we have to tell them our whole life story, but only the things that we feel comfortable telling.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go first?
My whole life story, that's like a lot.
In
I
four
don't know.
minutes. So I'm going to time you.
Oh
So
my
once the
god.
timer runs out, you're effed. If you don't, no one's going to fall in love with you.
I feel very stressed.
All right. Are you ready?
Sure.
Go.
Well, I'm Sarah, and I was born, as we talked about, my birthday was yesterday, December 27th.
Mhm.
Um, I am Iranian, so I
Ooh.
grew up Iranian, which is cool. Both of my parents are from Iran, and they came here for school and met each other and got married. I went to school and stuff like that, like grade school in Connecticut, which is how like we know each other. But there's more to that story. We'll get back. We'll get back. And yeah, and then I went to college in Penn State. I did bachelor's in architecture. Moved to New York, and now I'm working in an architecture firm. Ooh, I had a dog. That was fun. We loved him. He just died because he was old like a year ago. Don't feel bad. It's fine. Um, but he was amazing. He was a little fluff ball. Made me feel like it was like the best thing ever. And how am I doing on time?
You have 3 minutes.
Ooh, I was so stressed. I said most of it in like 1 minute.
You went so fast. It was amazing. You were so worried that the viewers would not love you.
Yeah. What else? What else?
You could talk about your other pets.
Oh, so I had parakeets, I had like hamsters and stuff. I want to get a cat. Hopefully this year at some point, a hypoallergenic cat. Very excited about that.
What type of things did you learn in your life?
Ooh, that's good. I mean, recently, I guess I learned because like I came up like growing up with like you always like the idea is like you give and stuff, like you give a lot because then that means you get a lot back, or just out of like the goodness of your heart or something, let's just say. But I've learned recently that there has to be a balance, and sometimes you need to like, you know, fill yourself up before you start giving to other people, because if you don't have anything in yourself, like you're literally going to be negative depleted. So that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Also like standing up for myself. That was hard because I'm also like pretty shy. So and get very anxious. So still working on that. I mean, granted for reasons, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, you still have 1 minute, so I don't know how you're gonna fill this.
I'm trying to think.
This is why I had you go first, so that I could observe and then try to.
I literally like went through my whole life story, and okay, I'm gonna end in a funny story. I got my dad these pizza socks that he loves, and he told me that he wears them outside for informal occasions, but formal occasions he'll wear other socks. So I'll let you guys interpret what that means.
I was gonna make a dirty joke, but then I was like, no, that's your parents. I can't say it. That's gross.
He means informal occasions, like going to the grocery store or just going to pick something up. But like work, he can't wear the pizza socks. That's a formal occasion.
It's not gay if you leave your socks on. 2, 1. Okay. That's great. That was a really great story. It's interesting to hear people's life stories and how they talk about themselves, because yours is really built on like where you've been and like your material successes, and that's like very Capricornian. So it's interesting to see how, like, what a person interprets as like their life story and what's important to them through that. Whereas like mine would just be like, oh well, I had this trauma and that helped me learn this, and then well this happened, and
You want me to time you?
I don't even know what's gonna come out of my body. That's a problem.
All right. Well, let me know when you're emotionally ready to start this.
I need a second. Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
3, I'm so sorry in advance.
2, 1.
I was born. Oh wait, I shouldn't say where I was born. This is starting off really great. I was born in Connecticut, and my parents lived together, but then like got divorced after me being like 6 months because my dad's an abusive poopy head. And then we lived with my grandma for a while, and that was really great because my grandma kind of became like my second mom, and we got really, really close. And I love my grandma. She passed away when I was 6 though, so that was my first experience with death. And it's interesting we could talk about like grief as an adult versus a child, because I feel like it's very different. I get so distracted. It's hard for my ADHD brain not to go on tangents. Okay, so we moved in with grandma, and then my mom met my stepdad, who's awesome sauce. They're total twin flames. It's great. And so we moved in with we got a place with him. Well, if we're talking about pets, I had this great cat named Mo, and he was my favorite thing. He was so fat and such a troublemaker, but I loved the heck out of him. He was completely a Taurus. And it's funny because he shares the same birthday with like 3 people that I know that I'm very close to.
What birthday?
What?
When was his birthday?
April 28th.
Oh, he is a Taurus.
I know. Ugh. Probably started my love for Tauruses. I love Tauruses. But he passed away in high school, and that was actually like really, really hard for me because like I just loved him, and I never thought I was ever gonna like want another pet again or like love another pet again. And turns out I did, but wow, what a lesson. Anyway, I grew up like really religious, not me particularly being religious, but how much time do I have right now?
1 minute and 26 seconds.
Me. All right. Well, the religion thing kind of like was really fucky because, you know, manipulative people, and they use religion to try to like control people. And I got told I was going to hell constantly.
Oh my God.
I know, it's fun. And that had all sorts of implications that we can get into in another episode. And I went to a music conservatory for a couple years and then decided like, nah, that's not my shtick. My stepdad died, came home. Then I went to like another college. That was really fun. And then I went to another college, but at that point I was like kind of old and grumpy and just wanted to like get through it, and kids were partying and I was really upset about it. And then I went to grad school, failed out, and now I'm here. And did a bunch of other jobs. Did I make it?
25 seconds spare.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I just feel like I just rushed through a bunch of stuff that I could explain, but that would take way more than 25 seconds. Oh no. Well, basically, I just want you to let you know I'm a master in grief. So we can have like a whole grief episode. Or it could just, oh, is it over?
It's over.
Okay, cool.
We can have a grief episode.
We can, because like you've had experience also.
Yeah, very strange. How I deal with grief, I guess. I don't know if it's strange.
Ooh, I want to know this off the air, and we'll save it for another episode. Off the air, like we're on radio.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That was really stressful, and I didn't like that. So I hope you're happy and falling more and more in love with us. Okay. And then that is a beautiful segue into our next segment, which is...
How do we know each other?
Woo! Sarah, how do we know each other?
So this is a fun story, I think. It's cute. We I think we spent 2 nights ago, we literally went through our whole past. It was a whole thing. Remembering all the people in school and stuff. So we know each other. We went to preschool together a very, very long time ago. We both grew up in the same town. We went to preschool together, and I remember, so what I remember was, I just remember you because of your hair. I remember your hair.
Those are everyone.
And then I remember I went to elementary school. You went to a different elementary school than me, but then we went to the same middle school, because I think there's 6 different elementary schools that funnel into 2 middle schools that funnel into 1 high school in our town. So your elementary school and my elementary school went to the same middle school, and that's when I met Emily again.
Yes.
So we lost each other for 5 years, and then we found each other in middle school. And I just remembered her because her hair was still very similar. And so I don't know, we became friends there. We got closer in high school and stuff, and then closer ever since. So
yeah. So my story is and has to do with what we were talking about earlier in the episode. So I remember meeting Sarah again, and we both got dropped off really early in middle school, and we had to like wait in the cafeteria. And we both had mutual friends who were like, how do I describe them?
I mean, they weren't outright. Well, okay, so this goes back to basically me saying I was oblivious for people making fun of me or bullying me, basically. And they weren't like, I wouldn't say they're like malicious people.
No.
They were just, you know, you're in middle school, like
just what you do.
People make fun of people, like you're going through puberty, whatever. I was on a different planet having the best time, whatever. Like
Sarah was telling this story about a dream she had about like canoeing up a waterfall with her dog or something. And I was sitting there cracking up at this story, being like, this girl is the funniest person I've ever met in my entire life. And then I see the two girls who we're mutual friends with, and just like shaking their head like, no, don't do it, like don't get hurt, like don't encourage this. And I'm like, but it's so funny.
I was too weird for them, basically, and they were pretending. They were laughing, but like I guess I didn't realize they were like, you know, making like just like looks.
Yeah.
But like again, I was also clueless on another planet, so like it didn't matter to me.
Yeah, and then we were in the same homeroom for 7th grade. We did have a lot of fun 8th grade memories because, do you want to tell them about the planetarium incident?
This was a good thing. So the guidance counselor took us our whole 8th grade into the planetarium. We had a planetarium in our
because freaking
awesome. That like didn't work really. Like it was all old and broken, but it was cool. Like
it was so cool. I was in the astronomy club when that existed.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked.
They kept telling us it's broken, and I'm like, well, then
why
do you
want us to touch it?
Oh, well,
yeah. No, it very much worked.
That's bummer. Like wasn't gonna touch it, but I just wanted to know like what, you know, like turn it on. Like I want to see what's happening. Like anyways, they took us all to the planetarium and sat us down, and then our guidance counselor, because there was only one guidance counselor for the whole school, came and starts like losing his mind at us, and he's like, you guys are the best class, you're turning to the worst class. Ooh, we have landlines here.
Ooh, what's happening?
Someone pick up the phone, please, because I feel like I always accidentally not press mute, so then I don't know which button it is and stuff. But so they were like, now you're the worst class, and he's like, I'm so disappointed in all of you, and we're all like, what the hell, what's happening?
We're like, what's going on? We don't understand. What did we do?
He's like, people are going into the woods and having sex and doing drugs, and like it was like 2 people out of like a 90-person class, so everyone in this class is sitting there very confused and just like, what? And our guidance counselor was getting very emotional about this and just like telling us that we're the worst, and like it was literally only like 2 people in our whole class that was going into the woods and like doing drugs and maybe having sex. I don't know. Everyone else was just a confused 8th grader being like, what is he talking about? And then also, this is the same guidance counselor that told us that we have no friends.
Yeah.
You can only consider someone your friend if you've known them for 10 years. So once me and Emily hit our 10-year mark, oh man, we had a party. Like,
yeah, he came in 6th grade. So imagine a bunch of little 11-year-olds in science class just sitting there. And then he goes, you have no friends. And we're all like,
gotta love middle school.
That was middle school. And I think we also just really bonded because like no one is weird like us but us.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that
honestly,
yeah,
it's so true. Because I remember, okay, I needed to, because this is like literally the epitome of like no one else understands us. I was in college and I found this really funny meme about Valentine's Day, and it was like something about poop, like because poop is funny to me. And so I sent it to Emily, and then I sent it to my other friend in college, and she was sitting right next to me in the computer lab. She gets it. The girl that's sitting next to me looks at it and is like, Sarah, what's wrong with you? Like, why? Like, what is wrong with you, actually? And then I sent it to Emily. Emily's response was like, that's amazing. I love it so much. This is the best thing I've ever seen. And I was like, see, that's how I know.
Yeah. And I think for me especially, it was nice to have somebody that didn't pressure you to hang out all the time, or like understood when you were like hey, I just need like a no pants day, and like nobody look at me, nobody think about me, nobody smell me, talk to me, remember I exist. And you were the only person at that point in my life that like,
Understood that.
Still a lot to this day, that like understands that I need that,
right,
want that. And
like
so
we don't get offended if the other person's like, I just feel like I need to like die and come back to life, just give me like a day.
Yeah, exactly. Like tomorrow we will be reborn.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was nice having that, because I don't know if our school was full of extroverts or something, and I'm an extrovert by trade, but I'm an ENFP, so like they're the most introverted of the extroverts. We take in a lot, but and because of that, we can be like really like woo, but it also means that like after a big party, we'll need like 3 days of recuperation to just process everything we took in. And that's probably why I'm primarily only friends with introverts, because they are the ones that get it. And I don't know, like, I don't know what it is about extroverts, but like I've had a lot of extrovert friends that just get really upset and offended when I'm like, no, man, I just can't. Like,
well, the thing is, the idea is that extroverts like get more energy being around people, so they don't necessarily like understand what you or I mean, because introverts lose energy. They get more energy when they're like, I'm gonna go sit in a corner, recharge. Like extroverts get recharged by being around people, so it's like a different
yeah, that's fair. Like, I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, if you haven't experienced that other side, like, I don't think I experience it truly like you do, but I do understand the need to like recuperate after
right
seeing people. I remember spending, I don't know if it was like spending time with people for the first time in like forever, or like FaceTiming them or something, but I spent like a good 5 hours with somebody, and I was awake all night because I had so much energy.
That's so funny. I was like the opposite, where like everyone else by like the summer was like, I'm over this quarantine, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like thriving.
Yeah.
Now I feel a little, now it's getting to me a little bit, but like it took a whole year. So
Yeah, it did. And meanwhile, I think the rest of us are like kind of adjusted, and you're like out there like, this isn't fair.
all right. What?
I said I have to pee. I've been having to pee so badly lately. My bladder has been like,
Okay, so there was a moment where I was drinking my tea before you came on, and I was like, am I gonna have to pee? And then I was like, I'm not gonna go, because like then I'm gonna make a whole thing, but I do have to pee too.
oh my God, do you want to take a pee break?
Pee break.
Oh, okay, cool.
Uh,
Give us a second. Insert on elevator music. Hello.
Hello, I'm back.
I didn't want to say I'm really thankful for you not being here when I got back, because I'm not wearing pants. So I had to very meticulously get up so you didn't see that I wasn't wearing pants. And then I was thinking about it on the toilet, and I was like, how am I going to sit down if she's already there and not show that I'm not wearing pants? So I'm very thankful that I didn't have to figure that out.
Should we go to our next question that we have?
Sure, what is that?
This is where we're gonna go off the rails, I'm telling you.
People are going to know we're weird.
How do we know each other in our past lives? We're going real deep.
Well, we believe in reincarnation, and we're not saying you have to believe in it too. It's just what we feel is right and good and blah, blah, blah. Which basically means that we've had other lives, and specifically other lives on other planets. So we feel like we're starseeds.
Yeah, we believe, because also, like, here's my thing. This is what I believe. We cannot be the only ones in this whole universe. Like, that just seems a little crazy and far-fetched to me. There gotta be other beings that would be called, I guess, would be aliens in the universe. Like, why would all of this be built for one planet? It just doesn't make sense to me. So
correct. Once I got into like reading Akashic records, I went and figured out how me and Sarah like met in a past life, and like what brought us here. And I don't know all the details, but I can tell you what I do know, which is she was vacationing where I was living. And I never go to her planet. She's from Sirius, I believe, and I don't usually go there because I guess I felt like it was like boring.
That's fair. We do. I mean, at least I get very excited on very mundane activities. So
That's fantastic. So I met her, and she found me really annoying at first. Then I proceeded to charm her with my, I don't even know what, my wit, my funness. I don't even know, but I was annoying to her. And I think that's honestly maybe what kept me going talking to her, because I could sense the annoyance, and I was like, let's see how far we can go. I like to push people. It's a thing I'm working on. But basically we became besties. I'm pretty sure I was working for like the GFL or something, and they needed volunteers, and I was like, hey, they need volunteers, let's do this. And you were like, no thank you. And I was like, but we should do this. And you're like, ugh. And so you reincarnated with me here on Earth to be the first wave of volunteers. I'll explain it really quickly. Read Dolores Cannon's book, The First Wave, if you want to know more. But basically, they sensed that Earth was like moving from 3D to 5D, so they were struggling, so they needed volunteer starseeds to go down to Earth, raise the vibration, and help them out a little bit. You know, I was all gung-ho because I'm always gung-ho for everything. And you were a little bit more apprehensive, as, you know, one should be.
As I am.
But I'm just like, you bring me a new idea, and I'm like, hell yeah. Don't think it, just do it. And so we came here, and I think that's the gist of it. I mean, you've only had one life, so there's not really much else to tell besides that.
Yeah, that's also another interesting part, is like Emily's lived like so many, like hundreds and hundreds of lives. This is only my second life.
Yeah.
Which means I'm like a very I've only lived one life before this, which is interesting, which probably makes sense as to why I'm always like super nervous, because I'm like, this is all very foreign, what are we doing? Like
right. And that's not to say like because there are multiple timelines happening at once. So like while we're living our like second life, we're also living our like 500th life. This just happens to be our, like, time is not really linear. So like your 500th life, Sarah, could be like in ancient Egypt. It doesn't really like work like on a linear timeline like we think it does, because time doesn't really exist in the human concept, at least.
Right. But yeah, she convinced me to come down to Earth with her, and now that's why we are both here living and things.
Doing this podcast.
Yeah. I think it's funny how we came down and then we went to the same preschool, and then like we like didn't see each other and then saw each other again. I think that's very fascinating. Like, and you came first. You're older than me by a couple months. That's also interesting too.
I was going to say, I wonder if the preschool had something to do with like our development as starseeds or something. Like there was something we needed to learn there that like we wouldn't have gotten elsewhere.
Maybe.
That's why we chose that specifically. Or maybe it was just so that you would feel more comfortable speaking to me.
Maybe. Or just like feel more comfortable in general because you were there, even though like I don't think we ever really talked that much in preschool together.
No, I didn't remember you.
Yeah, I didn't talk to anyone. Like we went through this whole thing and she's like telling me, oh yeah, I was friends with this person. I'm like, did I talk to anyone in preschool? Like, that's how we know each other in our here life, in our past life. And okay, so do you want to do the Reddit stuff, or do you want to do the one more question before we go to the Reddit stuff?
Oh my god, I don't even remember the Reddit stuff. We can do one more question. No, we should go to the Reddit stuff and then do the question.
The Reddit is like the relationship stuff.
Oh, fun. Yeah. Okay, so we pulled questions from Reddit that were like relationship questions, because obviously the podcast isn't out yet for you to send in your own questions. Yeah, but when it is, we should like give them our email so they can send us questions.
Ooh, that's smart.
Yeah, we should. So if you want us to answer your advice questions because you think we're such smart people, email us at theblanketburritos@gmail.com. The link will be down below or in the description. Cool.
Ooh. We sound like real professional ladies. I love it.
No, we don't.
No. It's just fun because you hear other people say it and you're like, oh, it's happening. We're saying it. Like,
Yeah, I have to think about what they said, and I'm like, okay, try to model it as best you can. But yeah, what are our Reddit questions?
so the first one is it normal for me not to want to hear about a person's ex?
I think it depends.
I think it depends.
Yeah.
Is the person literally using them and talking about them all the time? I think it's normal for you to be like, okay, clearly
what's going on? Yeah, you're not over them.
You're not in a place for this to happen because you're
Right.
in that place. Right.
I think if they like constantly bring it up, that's definitely a red flag, and I'm curious if like are they bringing it up because they're like using it as an excuse for something and not trying to heal their own past trauma, which like if they're not getting help or not trying to help themselves, then like no, like leave them, run away. But if they're just casually mentioning it offhand, sometimes I think that's okay. But I think this person specifically, if I remember, he said that like he's just been on like random dates with people and they just bring it up. And like all of them do, which I think is one like a limiting belief, because like if you believe that like, oh, this person's gonna bring up their ex, then they're gonna do it.
Right.
But that aside, like law of attraction stuff aside, I don't know. I guess like what I said, like why are they bringing up their ex? Like are they bringing it up to have a discussion so that like they're not wasting their time?
Right.
That's valid. I don't think like not okay, or it's not okay to never talk about your ex.
No, it'll happen, but I think where it gets problematic is when they're always talking about it, or if they're using it as a comparison, and that's like dangerous too. Those are only two things I can think of, like if it's like, in a negative and constant and,
Yeah, talk more about the comparison thing. I like that.
I don't know, but I just imagine someone, I mean, I don't know because I haven't dated many people, but I just imagine someone, if they're always talking about it, they're either not over it or they're talking about it to be like, oh, well, like this person did it this way or this person this, when you're talking about something else. And that's not good either, because then it's like, well, I'm not that person. I don't know and then that also leads to they're probably not over it. Like,
oh yeah, like I remember when I dated someone and I was very much not over this ex. Like I dated this person to like try to get over them, and that was not a good idea. Don't do that. I was comparing them constantly to
interesting.
them. So I think that if they're comparing you, that could also be like an indication like they're probably not over them.
Yeah.
Not for everyone, obviously, but I think that could be a thing as well.
Right.
Whew, what's the next question? That was a biggie.
This one is kind of general. How do I be emotionally open to dating?
Ooh, we did that one for you because you need help with this as well.
Oh yes, I'm emotionally, as co-star says, emotionally repressed.
Yes. Can we talk about that? Yeah, but I was reading the description for co-star for my moon in Capricorn, and they told me I was emotionally repressed, and I was like, they're not wrong, but rude.
They tell me I'm repressed too, basically, for other reasons, because
Yeah,
I am a Capricorn.
Every single thing that you have Capricorn in, there's like oh, you're repressed in this way, and it's like, dude, come on.
Repressed.
This episode of Blanket Burritos is brought to you by the word repressed.
Repressed. Hashtag Capricorn season.
Yeah. Oof. Okay, so how have you dealt with trying to get past you being, what did they say? That they're not.
Emotionally open.
Oh, yeah. How did you get like past, or at least try to?
That's hard. I don't think I'm ever, like, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I was just going against like things that like are important to me.
Mm.
So like the problem, I think it's just because I haven't had a lot of luck in general with people I've met, I would say.
Mm.
So the people are just not, not the best. And I don't know. I don't think what I'm asking for is irrational.
No, it's not.
And they're not willing to provide me with those things. I don't want anything to do
Right.
with it.
And it's very
So
interesting that you've had that boundary set up very, very early on, whereas like I've had to learn through relationships like what I am going to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate. Whereas you just like knew right off the bat, like I knew, but I was like, oh, like maybe I can deal with this, and I couldn't. So it's
well, I
very,
mean, the most recent incident, I tried to be more open because I'm like, you can't always, like, my thing was like, well, the other way is not getting me anywhere. So let's try to be a little bit more or less judgmental. I thought I was being judgmental. I wasn't being judgmental.
no.
I, and again, it still didn't work out because at the end of the day, there are things that I want that people, and it's not, I don't think it's not being emotionally open. It's just knowing that like you want certain things, and if they're not willing to like do or like specific things, this
Yeah.
sounds like I'm a bad person, I feel like.
No, it just sounded like you were like a really kinky person, like specific things. Like
No, I mean, well, okay. Just be like normal and like get to know me first. Like
oh, like
I need
yeah,
a
our society
slow,
is very, very sexual, whereas like you are want to go slow.
yeah.
And you're not
I'm not willing to have it
extremely
any other way.
yeah, you're not extremely comfortable with intimacy, and you deserve somebody who will understand that. And
Yeah.
I don't think you're asking for too much there. So
Yeah. So I mean, I don't even know if it's not being emotionally open. It's just like, listen, it's gonna take, like, I don't trust most people. What makes you think I'm gonna trust you? I met you 2 days ago. Like,
can I tell you a story about the day that I knew you trusted me was in 7th grade, and you told me who you had a crush on, and I knew that was a really big deal because you don't tell people like who you have crushes on.
right.
And like, oh my God, she trusts me. And that meant the world to me, and you don't even remember it. So like the big
No.
moment in our friendship, you don't even remember.
I'm sorry.
That was a big deal. And that happened 14 years ago, and I still remember. Anyway, but this guy was also like, and I feel like a lot of people try to do this, which is totally not okay to do. But there are a lot of girls who were like me, who will give in to, like, they'll set boundaries, but then they'll give in because they either want to keep the relationship or like, I don't know, another reason, like they think they can deal with it, whatever.
To be fair, I gave in a little, but not a lot. Don't try to change a Capricorn. It's not going to work. That's his own fault. So
or really any earth sign.
yeah.
Uh, but that's a thing where like you're really just upholding boundaries, and I think men have learned over the years that there are a lot of women who are willing to compromise their boundaries just to not be alone or what have you, or because they love the person and they want to try to make it work. And because of that, they are a bit more pushy because they think if they're pushy that they'll get somewhere with you, and that's just like not a thing for you. Like you do not like that. You do not tolerate that, which I love.
No.
Um,
Yeah, he was very pushy
yeah.
at certain points, and I think he realized at the end like I wasn't going to budge.
Which I
And
love. Keep holding those boundaries. Yeah. But that's why I think you're struggling with that, because there are a lot of people, and me included up until recently, and I feel, I don't know, do compromise on the things they want in order
yeah.
to, because they like the person or they want to, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, now I don't even think I was necessarily like emotionally closed or repressed. I feel like it's just I'm just not willing to compromise on what I want. So
Yeah.
I'm not repressed.
Hey, we learned something today.
We
Let's see if we
did.
can go back to the Reddit post. I'll like pause the episode and see like specifically what the heck this guy was saying. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, I couldn't find what the question was, but
Okay.
how to be a more emotionally open. Let's see. I think you have to be patient with yourself more than anything. And if you aren't emotionally open, then like maybe that means that you have more work to do on yourself before you even try to be in a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
And be more emotionally open with yourself and sit with your feelings and identify and label them, and maybe like don't identify with them, but just label them and sit with them. And once you get more comfortable feeling those emotions, even like the icky ones, maybe you'll be more comfortable and more open to experiencing other emotions.
Right. That's good. That's actually very good advice.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I pulled it out of my asshole.
you.
What a great image.
All right. We have one more question.
Oh, what is that?
Not relationship question, just general question.
Okay, what is that?
That we'll end with. Why did we choose the name Blanket Burritos?
Well, we were trying to figure out a name, and we were like tossing a lot of stuff around, and we thought of one thing, and then I was like, in my daily blanket burrito, because that's where I feel safe. A lot of the times, Sarah will call me and I'll be like, it'll just be dark, and she'll be like, oh, how you doing? You okay?
You're just like, I'm in my blanket burrito.
I call it cocooning a lot, and then I emerge a beautiful butterfly. But basically, like, the idea is that blanket burritos are kind of a safe space where you're allowed to like, well, it's really just like be comfortable, but also you're allowed to like make mistakes and not be your full like higher self or best self. Like you can be kind of you can make mistakes and play and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. I'm sorry, I'm eating. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. Is like the blanket burrito also sounds very comfortable. It's supposed to be, like you said, a safe space. So like what's more comfortable than like being in a blanket and stuff and like cozy and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where we feel like we can thrive.
Yes, pretty much. It's like, and we also just really like being comfortable and cozy. Like that's kind of our aesthetic as people.
Yeah.
Like we're in sweats most of the time. So I've been getting really into for winter though, like flannelly fuzzy pajama pants.
That's a mood. I like
I'm
that.
really into those. And I wear those occasionally, but then I get too hot and panic and take them off. I have a really big issue with temperature, and I don't know why, but I can't figure out if I'm hot or cold constantly. So
That's so funny. I'm just always cold. When in doubt, always cold. Actually, that's a lie. Because when I'm in my apartment and the heat is literally blasting and you might as well be sunbathing, I am so hot. Like I'm sweating in the middle of the night. I have to have a window open in the winter.
A reptile.
A reptile? Oh, yeah. Because it's like a good
it's a good temperature.
Well, I think that's all we had for today.
Oh my god. Well, thank you so. Hold on, let me finish eating before I end this. Where's my water?
She's choking on mashed potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. Just thought I'd let you guys know.
I've been having a craving for mashed potatoes a lot recently, and so I bought like 2 giant bins of like 4 to 6 sized servings of mashed potatoes that I eat like periodically throughout the day. Because I'm a scavenger. I don't just like eat like 3 giant meals like everyone else. I have to be weird.
She's like a nibbler, like a snacker.
Yes, that's the right word. But also I just want to protest eating in general, because I really hate eating, and if I could not eat for the rest of my life I would be so happy, because it's just such an inconvenience for me, because I forget that eating exists a lot of the time until I'm hungry and nauseous, and yeah. Well, a big thing about ADHD is hyperfocus. So like when we're hyper-focused on something, so if I'm like writing a paper or doing work, like I'll forget that food exists. And then it'll be like 8 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I'll be dizzy and nauseous, and I'll be like, what the heck's going on? And I'll be like, oh, I didn't eat all day.
Meanwhile, like literally eating is my favorite part of the day. Like I'm the complete opposite. I love food so much. It's like, it's a problem, but.
I never understood you guys in that. Wait, hold on, I have to sneeze. Oh no, it's stuck. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, I was so excited to like, have that release, and now it's just, I'm disappointed. I disappointed our viewers too. I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching the second episode of Blanket Burritos.
Yeah, I would like to thank you guys for continuing on this ride with us, and we'll see you guys, I guess, the next episode. What are we going to talk about the next episode? That'll be fun.
Tell them what we're going to talk about. That'll spoil stuff.
I know. Well, we don't even know what we're going to talk about.
They don't have to know that. I was trying to cover it up.
I'm just saying I'm excited.
Well, don't forget that this episode is brought to you by the word Repressed, and thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you.